Hello, and welcome back to Dentistry Talks, a podcast where we speak with people from outside of dentistry to bring you fresh looks at the profession. Today, we are honoured to welcome Bernie Davies, a passionate advocate for inclusivity and business growth. Bernie's philosophy, we go together or not at all, challenges the misconceptions around inclusivity and highlights why it is crucial for dental practices and teams to evolve and adapt. In this episode, we'll discuss how dental professionals can foster a culture where patients genuinely feel safe and heard, and what a fair work environment truly looks like. Speaking with honesty and openness, Bernie's insight and passion for true inclusivity means this episode is a critical listen. Bernie, hi.
Hello.
Hey, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
I am really, really good, thank you. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this.
Always. Your jacket is beautiful.
Well, Gabby, I thought I'd bring the sunshine here.
It's wonderful. It's exactly what I needed today. So thank you so much. We're going to have a really crucial and essential conversation today. Actually, I've got to ask: have you ever done a talk or a podcast in the dental industry, dental sphere?
Never.
Okay, I love
so
that.
You're my first.
This is amazing. We're in for a treat then. But I think, you've got a really incredible career, and what you do now is really impactful and so essential. Like I said, I think people watching and listening today will have a lot to take away from this.
Thank you.
I'm going to throw something at you. So it's obviously the theme of today is inclusivity, which is obviously a word that is used a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put that out there. We both know it's a word that's thrown around a lot. And I wondered for you what the biggest misconception is when it comes to inclusivity in business.
Well, I think the biggest misconception is that it means equality.
Okay.
Inclusivity, in fact, can be the thing that breeds inequality. It's not providing a safe space, because if you have inclusivity and you have a whole lot of people together in one space and you're not treating with each one according to their needs, not taking the time to find out about each one, to make each one feel that they have a voice, to make each one feel that they're understood, to make each one feel that they're heard, then all you've done is put a group of people in a space and create a hotbed for tension, for all sorts of, well, let's just say that's why you have the sickness rate in some workplaces so high. That is why you have the quiet quitting, because people are included, but they don't feel like they belong. So that, I think, is the greatest misconception.
That's, I think you've put that really well and turned it on its head a bit and given a lot of people something to think about. For you then, what does inclusivity as a business look like? What should that look like?
Well, for me, it goes first with even recruiting. You've got to recruit well. You've got to manage your talent well. You've got to retain your talent, and you have to think about succession planning with your talent. So, okay, you're not going to, an organization that's going to have somebody at the head who's going to recruit the people that think, are from the same college or university as them, that person is going to have a hierarchical type of culture within their organization. And what they'll have is that they'll try to manage from the top down, not really understanding that really it is the people at the bottom that actually decide how well things go. So for you to have an inclusive work culture, first, the people at the top need to learn. Yes?
That's going to be a hard truth.
They need to learn, and they need to realize that in order to attract the right people, they have to give the right signals. So they have to be attractive to good talent. And when that talent comes in, then you've got to retain the talent. And how do you retain them? Things like groupthink, you stomp that out. What is groupthink? When people don't feel they can open their mouth and speak because there are just one or two, more often than not, one or two people that seem to get the nod every time in meetings, that seems to get the floor every time, and they seem to be valued, their opinions. So the ones who are not as outward going or do not look or feel or think the way the person who's in charge feels, those keep quiet. So what do? They either leave or they don't give their best. So you don't give your best, so it affects your productivity. You're wondering, why is it that we're not? I've recruited these people with all this talent. Yes, but you have not given them an opportunity to thrive. Yes?
I think that's a really key point is, inclusivity and that word and term and what it's associated with. The awareness, I guess, surrounding inclusive workplace cultures and actually actively inclusive. Not performative, genuinely
inclusive workplace culture. Yeah. You've hit the nail on the head, Gabby. Exactly. Yeah. Because if you're not going to have a culture where the people who are in charge are going to advocate for those who might be minoritized or give open recognition for the less, affluent or less, hip, trendy, whatever person. Yeah. If they're not going to give them that recognition openly, advocate for them, speak up if there's any discrimination that's going on, provide mentorship that actually reflects the particular need, representative mentorship. Sure. If none of these things are happening within your workplace, also robust feedback. A robust feedback system is key, anonymized but also intuitive. For example, I did a survey at I do audits of organizations, EDI audits. Yeah. And I did one for an organization. It's a standalone Welsh government body, doing really well there. Yeah. And they had the policies are all great, and they had some great surveys results before. And I did my survey, and what came back? They discovered that 1/3 of their staff were neurodiverse.
Wow.
1/3. So in none of the questioning, that did that come up. No, if you have a neurodiverse member of staff, there are certain things you have to put in place. Imagine having 30% of your staff neurodiverse. But I have to give them kudos, because what they did, I did the report. Yeah. I gave it to them, and they were to consider it at the senior level, and then we would have a meeting about it afterwards. By the time I got to that formal official meeting, they already said, Bernie, when we discovered that, we cancelled some of our meetings. We put the things in place that you recommended needs to be put in place if you have neurodiverse staff, and this was also a remote working organization. Okay. They were on it.
That's good.
No, that's inclusive 100%. Leadership. That is what it's supposed to look at. Because, listen, we don't get it right all the time. No. I am not this wag finger, because I have my own learning that I have. And you think you're woke, and you think you know what, and then something happens, and you think, oh my gosh. No. Oh, okay, there you go, Bernie. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You have to hold yourself to account, don't you? Because I think you can think you are a progressive and you think you're doing the right thing, but at the end of the day, we're all operating in a society where we've learnt things subconsciously.
We have unconscious bias, every last one of us. I'll tell, and I'll out myself now with one of these things that I discovered about myself. So, and it's recently, it came up in conversation about my background. Coming from Jamaica and from a wealthy family background. And so we had staff and so on. And I used to think we're good people. Yeah. We're really good people. My parents, if they went traveling, they'd bring back stuff for the staff and their children. Oh, we're good people, right? Yeah. And we were talking about it recently, and something, I do not know how it came up, but all of a sudden I thought to myself, what would I have done or what would my parents have done if, when I'm sat at the table, we are sat to eat a meal, one of those people pulled a chair and sat with us. And I tell you, Gabby, I thought to myself, my God, I would never have allowed that. It would never have been allowed in my house. And, the third thing that happened, I literally felt the feeling in the pit of my tummy that I'd have felt if they did that.
I see.
And I thought, oh my goodness. So when you have these comments from some people that say, oh, white people say they're not racist until you try to marry in their family. Am I any better? No, like seriously.
Yeah, no,
I love my stuff. But you can't sit at the table. Right? So every time we have to check ourselves. And we have to see, because it's socialization. So because of that understanding on my part that we are all socialized with different things, I am never going to approach an inclusivity subject from a finger-wagging position.
No,
Right.
and I think this is a conversation I've had quite a lot recently, is that we have to be forgiving sometimes to ourselves, because you said it perfectly. We're not always going to get it right.
No.
And particularly when it comes to, this is incredibly important. I don't want to downplay how important it is to at least strive towards getting it as right as you can. But I do think ignorance is forgiven, in my opinion, if you're willing to learn and adapt. And you gave a perfect example earlier when you mentioned this organisation that you worked with, and you did this survey and found out that 1/3 are neurodiverse, and they acted on it
Immediately.
and that's what the difference is. You're not supposed to get it right first time, but when you have the information in front of you, use that to better inform the workplace.
Information is key, Gabby.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Oh yes.
Yes,
I
the
do.
danger of the single story.
Yeah, I do.
We all have our single stories that we've been hearing. And every one of us is affected by that single story. Some of us have a few.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's sometimes there's more than one.
But,
yeah.
And that is what really creates the framework for bias. Yes? So for those who are watching the podcast, go and look at Chimamanda's thing. But I'll just say quickly, what it was is she discovered that she was just as biased to Mexicans as her counterparts at university were biased against her coming from Nigeria. So she had to hold herself to account. Yes?
Yeah. No, it's
because of the stories she heard about Mexicans and wetbacks, and the stories they heard about Nigerians. And coming back to home, the stories I heard when I was a child, and the things I saw on film with the little kids in Africa, with the bulging tummies, and the women with the long hair, and right?
Yeah.
And I remember, I have to out myself again, honestly, because when I do that, it just keeps me humble.
100%.
Keeps me humble.
No, it's great.
And
it's
I
great.
remember when I was a child, I used to say, oh, I'm so grateful for slavery because I would never want to be born in Africa. What? That's because that was the single story I was getting of my mother country.
Of course.
How crazy is that?
I know, but this is it, and you you look back now and you can think.
I know. It's
yeah, of course,
so
and you're
different.
like, it was so obvious that wasn't an incredibly. You held that view, and why? But you've learned, and we're all evolving. We're all evolving.
Because I'm seeing I'm reading many more stories. I'm hearing many more stories. I'm informed.
Informed is a great word.
So therefore, when we approach the inclusivity question, we have to approach it as people who want to inform, and more importantly, who want to be informed.
You've said we go together or not at all.
Yes.
Yeah. This is something that I associate with you, and I feel like you can kind of understand what you mean there, but I'd love for you to properly explain what you mean by that.
That's almost like you're asking me to tell you my life story, because that's where that mantra actually evolved out of my own lived experience.
Okay.
Because when I was a little girl, I was fourth of 5 children in a high performing kind of family. Well, I don't know if you know, but us in our culture, you're born, you have a pulse, you're going to do well, right? There's no question about that one. Right? So, and then my mother was a university professor.
Okay, wow,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we used to have the Friday evening quizzes. When I'm talking about about 3 or 4.
Sounds fun.
Yes. Well, it was fun for me.
Were you good at them?
because that's the only time I came into my own. You know?
That was your time to shine.
That was my time to shine because it was the 4th of 5, strong opinion, and it's still like that now.
Yeah.
I tell you, if you have a family gathering, or still I'm like, no, come on now, guys, get over that. So anyway, so long and short of it, when I won the tin of peanuts, when I whipped them, all right.
So humble.
I'm just going back into that, that little girl.
I love it.
The little girl mode.
I love
it. That's how I felt, because I felt downtrodden for the rest of the week.
Yeah, that's so
That's
fair.
my moment.
No, absolutely.
So when that happened and I won the tin of peanuts, I won what you saw on my face. Like, okay, now I am important. And that taught me the worst lesson ever. I thought that I was what I did.
Okay.
And I
can see that, yeah.
Oh, yes. So I developed into quite an obnoxious young lady who all I wanted to do was to achieve, and I'd leave you in your dust. I was it's me, right? And when I was in high school, nobody liked me. And I would go home to my mother and I'd complain about that. And she would always say to me, you need to know yourself. And I was like, what do you mean I need to know myself? She even told me in Latin, temet nose. Right? But what my mother knew is that the single most important thing we can ever do in life was to know yourself, because it frees you of life's bullies, and in particular the bully of other people's opinions.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know myself. So I got caught in that whole thing until something happened to me when I went to my first year university. In first year university, you guys have to watch the TED Talk to find out what happened to me. Because in my TED Talk, is know yourself, embrace your you-print. Okay. Right? And that is when I realized the importance of people. I realized that it's not good to judge. You can't do it on your own. And people are important. That's when that journey changed.
Okay.
So when I became a lawyer, eventually, I became a completely different lawyer than I would have become if that momentous occasion did not take place.
Okay.
So I then became somebody that valued people. I then became somebody and that's my natural thing. You'd have thought I was always like that. My natural propensity is if I'm anywhere and somebody even starts to speak to me, immediately my mind starts thinking, oh, that person could probably help them, or that person would be great. That's just me. I naturally believe that people are important, and what their mission is. If you get behind it, you don't need to worry about yourself. So that's the culture that I've built. We need each other. It's the collective. It nothing happens without a groundswell. Nothing happens without a tribe. And not everybody is your tribe as well. However, what I found is everybody has their tribe. So if you build a network of different people who you resonate with in different ways, and you encourage an atmosphere where they are, collaborating with each other, things just happen totally devoid of your control. It just evolves, which is what I've seen happen with my Master in Diversity conferences and awards. I started it, I'm in the 3rd year, and let me tell you, Gabby, it's literally taken on a life of its own. In Wales, the amount of different people that are involved and doing stuff with each other, that's the incredible thing. It's not like it's all coming to me.
No.
It's just growing and growing from government level all the way down to community groups. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Just to flip it on its head here, so we're talking about it there from a business perspective in terms of the staff and the teams.
Yes.
In dentistry, obviously, there's a very crucial bit we've kind of missed out there, which is the patient. And they are also, if not, no, I'm not going to say more, but they are just as important as to feel heard and safe in that space as the team who work there.
I can tell you about that.
Actually, yeah, I probably should ask you, do you like going to the dentist, Bernie?
No, it's oh, well, now I'm going into the other mode now. You see, the minute I talk about the dentist, I change position. You notice I'm kind of turning. The body language has changed. Oh, listen,
you don't love the dentist.
No, it's scary. Not about love. It is scary. And honestly, so we want dentists that actually, gosh, I mean, you dentists have a hard job because you have to be, you need to be, well, you don't have to be, but you should be psychologists if you're going to be good. You know, some kind of amateur psychologist.
Yeah.
Pick up on the ones that really pretending to be okay and are not okay. The ones that might, you know, because for me, I step in there to think, oh, she's confident, not in your chair. And I'd literally cry in the dentist chair before they touch me.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? There's a phobia. It's not just you. If that makes you feel, it's a huge phobia within dentistry, dental patients even. It's widespread, and I think there's a lot of practical things that dental practices can do to make people feel safer in there, but particularly when we're tapping into this inclusivity element, you know, making sure it's scary at the best of times, regardless of who you are. But for those people who may feel that stepping into that space has an extra challenge, an extra layer to it, you know, what can dental practices do there to be more inclusive to their patients?
Well, I think what they have to be aware of is the community within which the practice is. Because the cultural competency, cultural literacy is important. Because in some cultures, the women struggle with any kind of, you know, interaction with even with female, male, but mostly the male practitioners that the women would struggle with, and with a female dentist, they still struggle because in the certain cultures you don't speak about certain things. And yes, you might say, well, it's the teeth. What is, you know, why should they? What would they need to divulge? But you know, there are things that affect, like maybe why they've had this problem for so long and not come in.
Yeah.
What's going on? Yes. What's the social? You know, what's the reason? What is the reason?
Yeah,
so they're not going to open up some cultures. Also, some women come from situations where they are, you know, they're on, you know, control. I don't want to say abused, but you know, they're under a certain kind of control.
Totally.
And they come and they're just not in the right mental state. So when you are going to treat somebody who comes with that kind of issue, and you just come in and you are blasé in explaining what the next procedure is going to be, or if you think they're being a little bit fussy, but are they being a little bit fussy? Maybe listen to what they haven't said. Absolutely. Just, you know, questioning, intelligent questioning. Just beyond insightful, like the survey I did. Insightful questioning. Understanding that each person comes with something different. No, we know you're a dentist, and we know you have a job to do, but you know, bedside manner. Yeah,
no, totally. That actually has made me think about emotional intelligence, which I think is, again, something we're talking more about, and the importance that plays in business, in the ability to listen and ask the right questions and then take the right action according to what you heard, and not reacting, what's the word I'm looking for? Reactively, taking a minute to consider what has been said to you. I think that across all industries, but I think in dentistry as well, it's extremely high pressured. It's very fast paced, and it's quite easy to overlook that side and take a step back and a breath and work out what's going on there.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like a number.
No.
My experience with dentists have not been good.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure there's many people tuning in who would love to try to change your perspective on that one. Yeah.
Feel free.
Get in touch with Bernie,
Feel
guys. Yeah,
free.
well, there are challenges that they're facing too. That means that I think occasionally it's the priority is your safety, essentially, as a patient, is to get you in and get you whatever issue you're experiencing, be it just a general checkup or a root canal. They want to make sure that they do that. Even that word seems to trigger you there, Bernie. I don't want to talk about root canals, but it's hard. They're under a lot of pressure, particularly when they're working in an NHS environment where there's they've got to reach certain targets, and it's a lot harder to perhaps take a more slowed down approach to that patient. But from what you're saying then, I totally agree. Even just asking a few questions, even just taking a couple of extra minutes with that patient can make such a huge difference to their experience.
I know, and the thing is, I mean, it really depends on what the dentist wants to achieve, because sometimes what you run the risk of is if you let the patient think they can't actually tell you everything. Unless you had already discovered something can go unnoticed, undiagnosed, and I know that's like extreme, but you can have infections that go into your brain and all sorts of things because they go away and they don't come back. They don't want to follow up.
No, of course.
And so because they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
So it is that feeling of safety that I think in the dentist chair, and it starts with the mind.
It does. It always does. Like anything, I think it starts with the mind.
But mostly with dentistry, man, it's in your mind. I can tell you that. You've gone there the whole time, the night before the dentist. Oh my God!
Yeah, anticipation.
You walk into that place, you're wired.
Yeah, no, it's true. And also, I think if you do have that phobia, it's worst case scenario, right? What is the worst thing that could happen today? And your mind can go wild when you think of that in any situation. I'm guilty of that. My approach often is to think of the worst case scenario, so that because usually that never happens, right? Usually that never happens. And then I get pleasantly surprised because that doesn't happen. And I'm like, oh, anything else is a win. And I don't know if that's actually a good way of looking at things or if it's quite stressful, because it means I spend a lot of time focusing on a potential negative outcome, which 99.9% of the time never happens.
Half of the time, more than half of the time. You're right. It's more like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But it's what we need to realize. It's our reality, and it takes us right back to the whole inclusivity question. Because if it's in your head, you have experienced it.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
No, come on, you have.
Yeah.
Because what happens when something goes wrong? You feel sad, don't you? So if you're feeling sad about something you think is going to happen, it's happened. So what relevance is that to inclusivity? When you have people coming into your space and they don't feel safe, they have all these biases themselves, these preconceived, like for example, one of the biases that people like myself enter a workplace with is, am I going to be am I going to get the escalation I deserve? Am I going to be promoted? I know that people like me think about that. So before they have not gotten that promotion, in their mind they've been rejected. So they feel the rejection before it happens. So what happens then is, if you have a leader within the organization who acts and creates a culture and encourages the people around to make that person feel that in this space you matter, then the mind will change. So does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense.
So
Absolutely
we
makes
need
sense.
to think about the people that come, but then it's not just about black and white. Because I've done this so much, so often, and so frequently. People like you who look like you realize I might even have more privilege than you.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I think this comes back to the point that we spoke earlier about what inclusivity means. You know, it's used so often, but often people, when they think of that, they're very sort of binary in how they feel that looks like, and it's very complex. It's a complex.
It is very complex.
Yeah.
I remember when I moved down from Bradford to Wales, let me tell you, I was like, I took over South Wales as a black woman. Because when I walked into the space, I was different. And I didn't understand about race, the race bias and all of that kind of thing. Because coming from Jamaica, it was not the thing that would distinguish you. So I didn't, that was not what was, it was not in my mind.
Yeah.
Okay? And I went into all these spaces, and because I was black, and because I had a different accent, and because I was from Jamaica, I know I got a lot more inroad than another white woman. I'm telling you.
100%.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes? But then when I learned that there could be bias, I had to check myself and said, come on now. When you didn't think about bias, you didn't think about this. Don't start thinking about it. So there, it goes both ways.
Okay, yeah.
You know, whether you are disabled, whether you're from a different sexual orientation, whether you are female, whether you're young. People don't realize that that form of discrimination happens with the young, or whether you're old. Yes, you know these things happen, but if you go in with a mindset that says, you know what, I'm in this space, I belong in this space, I'm not going to look under everything to see if the discrimination is there.
Yeah.
You'll find it easier to also be included. So it's we have responsibility as well.
For sure. Do you know what? Honestly, I'll be really truthful. I've never had somebody put it to me like that before, and it's not really been a consideration for when I think about making people or going into space. So from my perspective, I'm a woman, so let's start with that. Obviously, we're talking about inclusivity here, and we're talking about gender. That's something that I can understand and relate to. So you always try to do. You sometimes can enter a space and feel, speaking from like I said, from my perspective, and feel like, right, what am I going to have to deal with here? What are the potentials here that I'm going to have to navigate or could potentially happen? And I do that, and it's easy to do that. But you're right in that we do have to look at ourselves sometimes and reframe it, and I think that's
we have to take
it's a bigger picture than a lot of people think.
There are so many moving parts in this whole diversity and inclusion, and it's just inclusivity question, because now they're saying no diversity, no equity, it's just inclusivity. Let's just talk about unity there. That's just what we're after. We're after unity, right? People feeling safe. But yes, so what I think more than anything else in terms of inclusivity, is it is not something that you can achieve on your own. You have to get allies. You have to have people working together with you on it. So within the workplace, which is why it's important for us to get the people at the top first, because they're going to make the decisions, aren't they? They're going to put the policies and the procedures in place. They're going to be the ones that set up or not set up the properly anonymous feedback platforms and so on. They're going to properly allow people to engage. All of these things so it has to be the collective. But the collective will not come together unless, first of all, they think that they're being heard. Yes. So one of the things that I do is I do little exercise on privilege. And I ask just 8 questions. Questions like, I've never felt, I've at no point when I talk about myself, I feel like I don't feel embarrassed or like I'm coming out.
Yeah.
Things like nobody's tried to ask to touch my hair at work. Or, those little generic things of privilege. And in a mixed group, you'll always have a lot of time white people having less privilege in terms of the 8 fingers, how many fingers they can put up, as opposed to some black people, right? Or some male-female thing. Yeah. Anyhow, what I also do after I do that is I ask certain questions after that. So I put them in different you're number 1, you only had 1, you only had 8, you have the 8, you have 6, you have the whatever.
Yeah.
And then I ask another set of questions. How many of you have been bullied?
Okay.
How many of you had suffered loss, had your heart broken, overcame cancer? Never, Gabby, has anybody been left standing out. Everybody comes in the middle together. And that is such a powerful example that at the end of the day, we are all humans. It doesn't matter whatever we have all, faced in terms of privilege or not. Every one of us have things that we can find that common ground.
Absolutely.
And it's about finding unity in that common ground and understanding that when people come into our workplaces, they come as people first and foremost. Yes, we know women, we know we are very clever.
No, totally
and the Rose Review backs that up, the Alison Rose Review, where she, it's clear that, the UK would benefit with £25 billion more value if women would just found business. It would just be supported to found businesses at the same pace of men. We know all of that, right?
Love that shout out.
Yes. But but in all honesty, we know all of that. We know the statistics. We know about and there are so many statistics I can quote. The British Business Bank report alone together, entrepreneurship and diversity in the United Kingdom, that talks about the disparities between the BAME community and found the entrepreneurs, and 15%, even though in terms of sustainability and profitability, the disparities are there. Let's not talk about the disabled. Well, you saw the only 16 parliamentarians were there last year for the debate when you had almost 200 for assisted dying. Okay?
Yeah.
That's,
an indicator.
Exactly. So all of these things. So these are the things. So these are the people that come into your workplace.
Yeah.
So you need to think about every one of them and try your best to meet everyone halfway. Oh, what time do I have for that, Bernie? I mean, we're running a fintech company here. What time? Well, that person that you're not giving that opportunity to be the best version of themselves might be the person who might come up with that incredible, innovative way of solving a problem or some new thing. But you haven't allowed it, so you've robbed yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. This is it. It doesn't have to. It makes financial sense. I think this is what's key, because when we're talking about business, right, it needs to work both ways in order for people to implement it, because businesses want to make money, and people want to feel safe where they work. So you can make people feel safe, and your business can make money. They're not mutually exclusive. That can work in tandem.
It's vital.
Yeah,
to the success of your business. But we keep missing out. I don't know why we can't see it.
I don't.
I mean, think about it. If you're going to be spending, when your staff don't feel appreciated, what's the first thing they start doing? Sicky. Offer stress. You're paying them, and sometimes you can't replace them while you're paying them.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So the productivity is down. So to my mind, inclusivity and staff well-being go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in order for it to properly be embraced, that is absolutely necessary. I was going to ask Bernie, what do you feel is the single biggest challenge that faces businesses in this area? What do you, in your experience, what have you seen come up time and time again?
I think it's succession planning.
Okay.
I don't think businesses actually, and it sounds crazy. What do you mean businesses don't think about succession? They really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Who thinks, only the really entrepreneurial business people will think about it. And usually it's because they're entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So they know they're the business. Mm-hmm. But the one who has the large multi-million company, they're not necessarily thinking about replacing the people strategically within their organization, their board, the CEO, thinking of who are we going to have to continue. And if you have the same people talking to each other, they're going to make the same decisions. They're going to recruit like them. So it will not really develop as it could. Gabby, how many big organizations, almost like they were here, the giants, you thought would never go. How many of them have gone? You know them. Woolworth. Name.
Do you have the facts and figures?
No, I don't have the facts and figures for that one, but I know in my head.
Yeah.
I mean, you name them. There's Woolworth has gone. Let's play a game. Who's the next one now? House of Fraser is going in down in Wales.
Is it?
Ted Baker.
Oh yeah. Of course, that happened recently.
Come on, Gabby.
Yeah.
There's loads. There's loads of them.
No, you're right.
Oh, I wonder how that happened. How that happened is they didn't refresh. And what causes you not to refresh? You don't have any new thinking. Stagnation.
That's a good word. It's I think it can be quite hard for businesses and business leaders to turn away from what they know. And often I feel the reluctance to embrace new people and embrace new thinking doesn't necessarily come from a position of, I think it comes from it's not malicious, it's because they're scared sometimes, I think, to reach out occasionally.
100%.
Yeah, and because it's new, so it's not necessarily coming from a bad place. It's coming from a very human place of, this is new to me. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this right.
The two things that prevent true inclusivity or inclusive behavior is fear and greed. I don't want to share it. It's like a little child. You have something else you want to give it. They don't want to give that little one up because they don't have a concept of that big thing you have to give them. They don't trust it. They're afraid. They don't understand the danger of the single story. Yes? They're not informed. But how are you going to get informed? You need to have conversations. You need to create the space for that. And that is why my Master in Diversity conferences, listen, at my conferences, the sponsors do not put their money, get their logos up and come and sit, I'm sponsoring. That doesn't happen. No, the sponsors come. They laugh. They say, Bernie, we're paying, and then we come and do the work. I said, no, you don't come and do any work for me. What you have an opportunity to do, because we have the speeches and so on in the morning where we have First Minister and all of that, and and then at 10 o'clock, that's just an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
From that time on until 1:30, for 3 hours, those sponsors are in different zone rooms where there's public sector. Okay, what are you doing within the public sector? to support diversity and inclusion. What are the challenges that you found? What are your stakeholders and partners doing? So they're delivering, they have their network of partners in, and the conversations that happen. So gender, representation, cognitive and neurodiversity, education, all these zones, and people building together. That is what it is all about. Then that's how you get to pull down the walls, and less fear, more understanding, having more and more of these conversations. Getting people to talk to people they would not normally speak to.
Yeah, that's key.
And and I see so many organizations doing that now. Great work. Football Association of Wales, Commonwealth Games Team Wales, with the girls, and the things that they're doing. It's just incredible. The Welsh government, I'm sorry, I'm just sorry. I think the Welsh government is doing some great work.
That's incredible. That's good.
They support. I'm going to embarrass them now. It's documented. I'm going to embarrass them. So when I had the awards last year, it was at the Senate, because I wanted it to be there so people come and they feel, yes, I'm here, I belong here, representation and all of that. And it would be free. I didn't want people to pay to get an award.
Nice.
And Mark Drayford, former First Minister, he sponsored it, because you have to have a sponsoring minister. And then the Minister for Social Justice, Jane Hutt, and Julie Morgan were to attend. On that day, it turned out they had a session. Yes? And they were supposed to be voting, so it's an important session. Do you know what they did? They came out of the session, and they came up and they took pictures with all of the finalists and gave their speeches. And Jane Hutt said, I am the chief whip, so I can decide when the vote happens. I am here. And she honestly,
incredible.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we want. Leading from the top, showing the priority that this has in your agenda.
100%.
Yeah. And then they went down and did their vote, but they did. So these people had their moment. It's a moment in history for them.
And it's a small tweak as well, isn't it? It's not not to downplay it, but it's small.
Exactly.
That it doesn't have to be a massively grand gesture or a massive change. It's just to feel recognised and to feel safe, and like it's an environment where you have value and purpose. That's incredible. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good example.
Absolutely. That's true allyship.
It is. I wanted to ask you to kind of round off our conversation, if there's any piece of advice you've heard or been given directly over the course of your life that's stuck with you and you still live by now.
It's the one I said in the beginning. Know yourself.
Know yourself.
Yes, and I've added to that, and embrace your U-print, because I think each of us have our own unique imprint, and we leave it behind wherever we go, either by default or on purpose.
Yeah.
And when I discovered that, I then have gone about purposely and intentionally leaving an imprint and a U-print that I think I would want to be proud of. So I watch the way I go. I watch how I treat people. It's really important. It's not all what you've achieved. The little girl has learned it's not what you achieve. Yeah. It's how you make people feel after they've left your presence. And I've got to give credit to my mother, Dr. Myrtle Thompson. She's gone now for 2012. But, I saw her U-print when she passed away. She had retired, and with what she lectured in, the doctors had to all sit her course, right? Linguistics and use of English. And nobody wanted, but you did medicine, you don't want to do that, right? But she used to make them feel so special. They just loved her. When they flew her into the university and hospital, and she passed away there. But they were just she got so much love and care. Yes. And when the family went to book the funeral, and they went to a funeral home, the gentleman, when he discovered who it was, he said, that woman saved my life. He said, my mother taught through the ranks. So she started from primary school up.
Incredible.
And he said, I was really going off the rails. And she said to me, you're better than that. And I changed my ways. And he was the owner of that funeral home. He gave her, put a tribute in the program. And he gave a big discount, right?
Yeah.
Because of what she was like. My mother was the most humble person you could see. No, honestly. The schools, as I said, she taught to the ranks. Schools, in their sent delegation of school children in their school uniform to the university chapel at my mother's funeral because of the impact that she's had over the years. And she'd planned her funeral because she'd always been, she planned her funeral. And she asked a country preacher, not one of the posh ones, to stand in the university chapel and be the one that gave the speech or the sermon. And he stood up there and he said, this is what epitomizes Dr. Thompson, because she thought I could stand in front of all of your dignitaries and speak. And because she thought I could do it, I am going to do it, right? Humble woman, right? And so that's her U-print that she's left. And I remember I was saying to my daughter when I heard everybody's telling me, when my mother passed away, nobody was talking about how clever she was. And she was. She was a Fulbright scholarship. I mean, listen, she was clever.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Nobody was talking about that. All of them spoke about how she made them feel. And I remember saying to my daughter, I wish I could be half the woman my mother was. And the best gift she ever gave me to date is when she said, Mom, but you already are.
Oh.
Honestly.
Incredible.
It really... So coming from that little girl who would leave you in the dust to somebody who their own child thinks actually is good to people, I've won.
Oh, 100%.
It's all about, because we go 100%. Together or not at all.
Yeah. Bernie, thank you. Really, really appreciate you coming in today, and so much to take away there. I've learned a lot, and I know that those who are listening and watching will have done so as well. And not to sound patronising, condescending, but you're just so eloquent. You just because it's a tricky topic, right? And it's really hard, I think, to put it correctly. And I think there's some really good words that were used in there. I love language. I work with, I my degree was history. Obviously, what I do now is I work with words. So I love it when people can pull a sentence together and it just sounds so beautiful.
I'm glad that I'm eloquent because I'm a speaker.
Yeah, no, I know.
So that would have been.
That's why I said I didn't want it to come across as patronising because. But it's just I have a lot of I have so much admiration for people who can take a topic and put it across like in such a fantastic way that is, because it's not. Sometimes I think we're quite rubbish at listening as human beings. So
you know what it is, though, Gabby, and it's one of the things I tell the people that ask me to coach them to speak. The first thing I ask them is, "What's your message?" Oh, I want to speak like you, Ronnie. Okay, what's your message? Like, seriously. Yeah. Because if you don't have anything to say, you have to have a message. Shut up. Nobody wants it. No, it's true. Nobody wants to tickle.
I know you want to be like me, but you need to have a message.
No, it's true.
No, you are right.
Because you know what? If you have a message, then I can work with it. because what I'll work with you to do is to be motivated that you can help. You would be likely help one person sat in that audience. Might not be, you might have 100 to 1,000. If you can change the life of one person, you've done your job. So therefore, your message is what should consume you, not your delivery. And when your message consumes you and not your delivery, you know what happens? You deliver because you're coming straight from your heart. Your message is in. If you have a genuine message, you will say it 100%. So it's thank you for saying I'm articulate and all of that, but I don't think I would have been if I was talking about something that I wasn't that passionate about.
Yeah,
it's in me.
I agree.
It just comes out because honestly.
No, but that's such what a lovely position to be in, and I think there's a message there for everybody, which is you got to get prioritize the right thing for a starter. Have something that you feel for and has purpose, and the rest follows.
Don't worry about but I'm sure you've listened to somebody in the past. The syntax isn't there. But you're probably crying because of the message. It's the message.
No, it's a good point. Bernie, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.